items on the agenda tonight, so we get started on time for our regular meeting. If you look at your agenda on page 1, item 7, says the Teachers and Director Appreciation Resolution 25-6-30B. You have that resolution in your packet if you want to look at it, or I can read it out loud, but if you'd rather read it for yourself, that is fine. I would have to read it here in the meeting. Okay, I'll read it here in the meeting.
We got another agenda of money.
You took his name from here.
I did.
Make sure you ain't got to take it.
Yeah, here you go.
There you go.
All right, we'll read that out loud. Next item. On my agenda. Everybody under his paperwork. The next item is special committees. There's an audit committee minutes. There was only two findings. Both of those were just accounting. There was no money missing or anything. One of them was, it wasn't done in a certain time period. How those minutes, but that is required by state statute, or that will be an audit finding. So you have those minutes in your packet. If you go over to your business agenda, item A says surplus to nonprofits or other allowable surpluses for firewood and pine logs from the Miracle Mountain site. So while we was out there clearing that land, appreciate the road department for helping save us some money. There was some white oaks out there, rather than pile it up and burn it or haul it off. The inmates was able to split it. There's probably 6 wrecks of wood out there. So the county cannot give that away because of private entities, but what we can do is surplus it to a nonprofit, and that nonprofit can disperse it. I think Rise Up Grundy has expressed interest in doing that. Also, there's about 100 pine logs out there that are probably 6 inches around, probably 30, 40 foot long. We cut them out of the way manually, so those trees wouldn't fall on parked cars or kids. So they're piled up out there, and really no value, but if we could surplus them to a nonprofit and they could get some use out of it, I think that would be good. Also, the surplus of the GMC truck to a nonprofit Rise Up Grundy, VIN 1 GCEK19T84E284239. That is 229. That is a GMC truck that was actually a drug seizure. The thing is it uses about as much oil as it does gas. But anyways, we're going to strip it from some of the emergency equipment, and but if they can use it, Rise Up Grundy, I think it will be a good asset if they can take advantage of it. It just doesn't serve any purpose that we have right now. So any questions about that, gentlemen? Item C, allocation of $1 million direct funds from the governor's office, letter of agreement to be used for Miracle Mountain Park. This is part of some allocating monies that the governor had in his budget this session as a direct allocation for construction of Miracle Mountain. There's just a letter of agreement. It has to be passed by the county commission. So you have that letter of agreement in your email. Item D, approval of opioid committee allocations for the opioid awareness day. If you look, you'll see an email that was from the opioid committee that agreed to contribute some funds, $5,000 for that event. I think the event was a huge success. There was a lot of people there. There was a lot of outreach, a lot of treatment, a lot of other things that was there. A lot of prayers were said that day as well. So it was a good day. Again, this is not out of any county general funds money. This is part of the opioid litigation funds that we have, and so, that was $5,000 that helped with that at the end. Any questions on this? Yes, sir. All right, gentlemen, item E.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, on this opioid day, we need to look at Bell Valley, because that's the day, that last Saturday of the month.
Yeah, I done talked to them, Chairman. What I told them, we're gonna pass it tonight, that we can do an amended resolution.
Okay.
So,
Because that is clashing with their event, it cost them some money, nobody's complaining, but we don't need to have that day on the same day that you're trying to raise money for the fire department.
yeah, I had some good conversations with that. I told them, I said, the best thing to do is.
We're not aware of it, that's.
Yeah, go ahead and pass it tonight, but at some point we do an amended resolution. Things have changed, or let them talk, see how they make it.
We're just changing the date, that's all we
Yeah,
have to
they
do,
might,
correct?
yeah, they might be, they will do something together, so. Anyways, that's the resolution that you're talking about, which will be item F. Item F is that resolution declaring the last Saturday in June as a day of prayer and awareness of opioid and drug overdose in Grundy County. I have that resolution in the package again, if we need to change it, critique it, then we can do an amended
I would
resolution.
request that we do change the date.
Item E is a submittal contract for Kimley Horn. Submittals are where the contractor submits payment, work done, work completed, and all that. They did not, Kimley Horn did not have that in the original contract. I'll just be honest with you, gentlemen, I don't want responsibility for going out there, checking, making sure the work is done and all that. I think that should be the responsibility of our firm. I looked in our contract and they did not have it in there. As a matter of fact, we had $300,000 for professional services in that contract. I think we've only spent about $150,000, so I was kind of wondering where I miscalculated, and that one place I miscalculated that they didn't have the submittal contracts in there. So I'd appreciate it if you would look on that favorably, to let the engineers and our firm handle the submittals, because they'll actually provide the state with the reporting of the submittals and make sure that the submittals are properly in, so we can get our reimbursements as well. So I just think it behooves us to let the engineering firm handle that on the submittals.
They will be there to oversee the north concrete and the group and all that.
Well, right now, there's not a per se Grundy County project manager, but throughout this, there's three of us, and that they will come in, Kimley and Horn will come in when they get ready to do their submittals, make sure.
The greens is supposed to be on that, the affidavit codes and handicap units.
Oh, yes, they have, plus,
That's very critical, because the state goes in and it is not up to code on the degrees, slope and all that, they'll make us carry that.
they will, but it won't be on our dime, because it's in our contract that they will, make sure that.
That's one thing, that's what we monitor to make sure. that
Yeah,
it's correct.
yeah, and plus we'll be out there, plus T-Day will go out there with their tape measures, their rulers, and.
That's very critical.
Yeah, and
when
so,
it comes to
but it's,
taking code and handicap.
and plus they have the architect for the restrooms and all that, it'll be on his dime. If you'll look at, item G, approval for E911 Board of Grundy County and authorize using national standards to name roads and private streets. They already do this. This is just formally checking the box, where E911 has that authority, where a 911 system to name roads and streets for Grundy County.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, if there is a road that was named years ago, and the people that's living on that road now wants to change that name. All the people on that road has to agree, and that has to come before the county commission, is that correct?
That's correct. Work this out
does goes into Google too now, versus back then, and what it means is they won't, anything set 1,700 foot off the road that you can't see it, they're not gonna get a road done, it'll be a lane, that's what they call it. Yeah, they'll conform to the 1,000 addresses in mile with the even numbers on the right and odd on the left, and, if there's, like I say, there's several fire tower roads now.
Yeah.
Well, there won't be any more fire tower roads, that's what we want to head off, and stagecoach roads.
Well, see, I live on that stage, there are 2 or 3 of them.
So what we're trying to do is, they will remain, we're not wanting to put any more stagecoach roads.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, like if it is a road that's offensive name to somebody, then that's a way different thing. That's what that's about.
All right, gentlemen, I know you received the budget amendments in your packet. I can go through each and every one of these if you want to. We gave an explanation for each one of them. I don't know if you've had time to review it,
Just closing up.
but it's just closing out the budget here, moving monies around from one line item to another. We try to give an explanation for each one of them, but you can see 101 has about 20 amendments by itself. I'll give you just a second, look over that, if you have any questions. Nothing in there. If not, gentlemen, if you look at item, those amendments are item H, I, J, K, L. If you look at item M, is the Board of Education's budget amendments. I think you should have had those about the 16th. So you had a couple of weeks there. I don't assume there'd be any questions about those.
On your agenda, it says Grundy County Road Department. We changed the name to
Yeah.
BOE 141.
And all the BOE amendments were very well detailed, what they are.
Item O is 2 pauper burials. I've had the commissioners from that district to review those and have those duly signed. Item N is a resignation from First District School Board, Dr. David Dickerson. Order of events, gentlemen, this is not the first time that y'all had to deal with this. I will tell you how we've done it in the past, and what has to be done, and then how you want us to proceed. First order of business tonight is to accept the resignation, which I think is kind of mute. If you don't accept it, it doesn't negate the fact, but you accept his resignation. If you're within 120 days out from the next election, you have to uphold it. So you are 120 days out from the next election, so you have to uphold it. The way that we've done it in the past is you will request resumes and a date to have a 10-15-minute interview with each person that is interested in that position. And this has to be put in the paper by statute, and everybody has to have an opportunity by statute. At Donald Trump, he got himself into it and get himself out.
Be tweeting on you.
Yeah, we'll be tweeting on here in a minute. Once you have the meetings and resumes and you've had an opportunity to digest all that, at the next county commission meeting, when we get to that section to do that appointment, you will open the floor, the chairman will open the floor up for nominations. Each nomination has to be made by a county commissioner to be voted on. You can receive nominations from the crowd, but that crowd nominations will not be voted on unless it's affirmed by a county commissioner. Once the nominations have been given, they will be voted on in the order that they were made. The first person, individual that receives 5 votes is declared the appointee. You don't even vote on the ones after that. So, that's how we've done it in the past, and that's how I would suggest to do it in the future, for this case.
Mr. Mayor, on that, also in the past, having the commissioners for that district, the ones that actually bring that individual person.
That's what's been done, but it's not statutorily required.
Well, I think we need to have done that in the past on the county commission, other school board members, and I think that needs to be the policy in this particular.
I'd imagine so. I imagine that's how y'all would
I think it's a good
proceed.
idea.
Well, that's just a
First
pattern.
district,
We've always
commissioners do that
respected
district.
the
I think it's a good idea.
Commissioner district. And, we've done
Yeah.
other,
Make them the first district.
on Tracy that time, we let District Three do that. And on commission, whatever district that person was out of, he ran to those three commissioners.
Over that night when we might put red cars in here.
What are we gonna do to do
And
it?
that's what,
You said, why don't we just take the one that was closest and everything? He said, you gotta step up to the plate.
so only question I need, if the commission is in agreement to proceed with this appointment like you have in the past, when do you want to do the interviews and resume? It will not be a requirement. It will not be a requirement, not unless, that you want it to be a
I
requirement.
think we owe it to each individual to sit down, talk with each individual.
Yeah, but I just need a date.
How long do we run it in the paper?
You can get mine within days.
Do we have to do three commissioners have to have a special meeting between the three or be somewhere or set
I
out?
think the way we did it before, they done it before the whole commission.
Yeah, I think you have to do it before the whole commission, because they may bring a sunshine law. It has to be advertised over the
Well, I
public.
thought it
My understanding was that commissioners of that district.
Yeah.
Three from that district actually decides.
And they made the recommendation.
To make a
Commission that we made, we did the interview, and we voted on
Yeah.
But I make nominations.
Yeah, so take nomination.
This is just my opinion, but with the board deadlock the way it is, we need to handle this month. We need to have somebody by the next meeting.
Yes, we need that, July meeting.
I agree.
I think y'all mean,
So, do you, I guess, you wanna have do you want to do it right before the regular monthly meeting in the workshop, or?
I think we'll do it prior, so we can, everybody
I
can
think we need to
absorb
do it.
the information we receive
Need
from
more
each
time to think
individual.
about it.
So if you wanna do it like the
Well,
Tuesday
I think that is, we
before?
got to hear everybody out, and from interview, then me and you,
No, we don't need to do it the night of the vote on that.
Right, no.
That ought to be done the week prior.
So if the meeting is the fourth Monday, why can't we do it the Tuesday before that? That gives a week to set and think about it. Once everybody,
be all right.
I'd be all right with you.
1-0,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Good
that'd be-
one, Mike. So you're talking about the 22nd?
That's right, maybe whenever.
we won't be-
But we also need to make sure that the individuals that have put in application for this, that can't be here on that particular day.
Is that
There's
right,
a
Mike?
scheduling day.
If the meeting's the
we need to
28th,
find
we
that
do it
out.
on the 22nd.
They may let us know that when they present a resume.
That work for you?
No, we need to do all that.
What we're gonna just call that a-
All right, Tuesday, the 22nd, will be your interview, night and resumes. You want the resumes submitted prior to the workshop?
Yeah,
That'd be-
Oh, yeah.
resumes need to be given to you, Michael.
Yeah, they need to give you, we need to have them a few days ahead of time.
Before the interview.
So what is the what's the Friday before
Friday before this
That's
date.
all.
Have the resumes by the 18th.
Have the interview, have the resume turned in.
We
by
need
the
them
18th.
ahead of time, so we look at them before we sit
We
right
need
here.
to look at them over the weekend.
Yeah.
I'll give them about 12 o'clock noon by, all right, my question is this,
What time?
He said
noon.
12 noon.
On
So-
Friday before that Tuesday.
Yes. Friday before the Tuesday, I give a weekend to Monday, look out. Next question to the commission. Do you wanna make it mandatory to have a resume turned in to be considered? I don't think I would.
I don't think that's necessary.
Looks like you're interested though, you turn the
If you're
resume.
interested, I think you would go to that much.
I would too.
Is this just for the commissioners in district?
Everybody would get them, I mean,
No, that's the
statute.
reason for everybody. Yes.
All right, so after not accept resignation of Dr. Dickerson on resumes due by the 18th, 12 noon, that's the Friday before the special call workshop, I guess we'll call it, which will be on the 22nd. And then you'll make the appointment on 6/28.
So,
Seven, yes, seven, about 7/28.
The way, on item number B, we don't have to say, but something the sheriff's got up there.
Yeah, that was,
Can we have papers tell us what that app's about?
yes, that was my next thing I was gonna, yeah, that's, place agenda, but except for what the sheriff's got, of course, so Sheriff, you wanna present or Avery?
So, I'm Detective McGinnis, I work with the Sheriff's Office in investigations for y'all, those of y'all that don't know me. During this time this year, some of y'all know that we've had an extended amount of overdoses in the county. With help with EMS, we've had just this year over 30 that's been reported, with 26 of those since late March. 7 of those being fatal. Corrections, 6 of those being fatal, and 4 of those have been confirmed through the medical examiner's office. As bad as I hate to say it, during the investigation, we found, I would hate to say just one, but we found multiple suppliers of fentanyl that reside in Grundy County. I've requested help from TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, along with the 12th Judicial Drug Task Force. And those guys are helping as well. But I have some informants that tell me that when the supplies are in, and whenever I call for the state, those guys want to come, but sometimes they have other things to do. And by the time they get here, within half a day or a day, half a pound or a couple ounces of fentanyl is already gone in this hitter street. So through the help of the investigation with the state and the DTF, they've shown me a software program that's called LETS. It's Law Enforcement Technologies Corporation. And what this does, everything can be brought out of the drug fund. And all that applies is I have to buy a cell phone, and then I have to buy the software. And the software for the first time being is $2,140 a year. And that's just a $150 first time fee. The next year, it would be $1,900, approximately somewhere around there. I would have to buy the cell phone separately, and this cell phone would just be used for this program. I told them what we got going on in Grundy, and they've agreed to give me the training for free instead of adding extra cost. All the software does is they download it on this phone, and I give the informant the cell phone. This cell phone, at this time, you could call, text, whatever, and it's recording video and audio, and that way that I can watch it live, being just a couple miles down from where the deal's taking place. And this is all recorded, it's GPS tracked, and all this does go into evidence in court. And I supply this evidence and also use it as probable cause to get a search warrant for the houses that are selling these drugs. and it, depending on how the case goes, it may be presented in court one day, but we hope that doesn't happen. But I'm asking for this that way that it could definitely help put a dent in our drugs. I won't say it's gonna take it all away, but we know of plenty locations around here that have them, and I have the people that's wanting to help me get it off the street. So that's what this program is. If you guys would please consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just have a question. Is this a year-by-year contract? Is this a multi-year contract?
It's a year by year.
And you said the second year, Avery, is 1,900, is that correct?
Yes, sir. It's a $150 first time fee.
Okay.
And that's just where they give us the transmitter for the phone and stuff like that. And then after the year, it comes down to $150 if we decide that we want to do it again.
And this just works on one phone? Or-
So this works on one phone, and then it's an out, but the software goes into the phone that we buy, and it allows me to use my county phone to actually watch the deal go down live, because I have to remain the protection over the person that's doing the deal. And during that time, I can actually watch it live and make sure that everything's good. And it's also recorded. I may not be able to see it as clear during the time, but once we get the software back and we download it on the computer at the sheriff's office, it's clear as day, and it goes into evidence in the courts. And this is also evidence to have indictments on people that sell narcotics here in the county.
Is there a plan of this to include that in case you need another device in the future?
So I believe just from this one, I've asked for the lowest one.
Yes.
And I can have up to 3 devices. But I think I won't need one unless the phone just absolutely goes down and.
If you had 2 devices, then you're gonna have 2 deputies to support that individual, ensure the safety.
Correct.
Now, with another officer.
Correct.
So you would be basically the admin for that?
I will be, yes. I will be the only one that has the login and stuff like that, so.
And I read that this works best with Android phones, is that what they're planning on getting?
It does, yes. They said it didn't have to be, they gave me a brand and I've left it on my notes, but it's not real too expensive. I can go to Walmart and buy one in the box. And then I just plan on buying a year worth of, as long as I have data on the cell phone, that's all. It just doesn't have to be a contract, that you sign with AT&T. This can be a scratch-off card I get from Walmart to provide this phone. Correct, yes, sir.
So, why did you choose this company here? Is there other companies that do this same thing, or?
So there is other companies that do this. Some of them are more expensive. Some of them are less expensive, but at the reviews, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation also uses this. The Drug Task Force, they also use this. So it's one of those, if we have a co-joining investigation or something, if they're using all that system, I can be able to help them out with this system as well, since we also have.
We have some surrounding circumstances.
Yes.
There's something.
Well, I know Warren County, some of those guys do. There's a few, I don't really know for sure, but there's only a couple out here that actually do this program. Yeah, but this company actually was willing to give me the training for free, and they said if we ever have a big operation to where we need multiple agents with this, they said they would get back to us for free as well. We just have to call them.
What's that insurance for? Custom insurance certificate, what is that about?
I'm not sure. I can get you an answer on that. I don't know if that's for them or their company or what.
It's just Thank you, Abe.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, that completes our agenda, but I do think we have some guests here tonight that we'll talk about. A few things. Y'all have anything else on the business agenda? If not, Lisa, go ahead and talk.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
news and I have good news. Which one do you want first?
What I good first?
You want the good news first? The good news is I'm not here to yell at y'all about Hunter's Ridge and people dumping sewage on the ground. There's the good news, right?
Have they quit?
No.
Okay, well, never mind, tell them straight.
I'm giving up,
I
so.
was fixing to say, you said you're too close.
Don't get too, I'm not
That
getting
ain't
too
gonna
right,
happen.
I've just decided that, you know, our attorney will take them all to court. I try, but I yell enough and
It looks to me like the health department would have a little thing to say.
nobody has
Well-
anything to say, not the health department, not the state, not to anybody, right, Mike? We've been every route we can be, we've even, now I'm just gonna have to go to
Well,
court.
this is-
Lisa and I both have actually tag teamed up on them, and, they give us a nice song and dance.
I get a kiss on the cheek and a promise and they sit me in the
Well,
room.
the health department-
That's what happens.
Oh, why do we get a permit for safety?
I'd like to know myself, but you
Some
know,
with their minds.
I've been trying, I've gone all the way to the top, Mike has gone all the way to the top, sheriff's gone to the top. And we even had the attorney talk about putting the developer on the nuisance list, and we just can't get anywhere, I'm so with it. I'm gonna need him to bail me out when I go beat him. But, let's talk about some great news. So, what I'm bringing before the council tonight, I'm hoping for your support in this, guys. We've been working on this probably for about, let's say, what, 3 years, Mike? I would say about 3 years. I wanna bring a distillery to Grundy County. This is going to be a bourbon Tennessee whiskey distillery. What this is gonna do for Grundy County is, one, we are going to bring an amazing amount of jobs. Two, we have locally sourced all of our materials and our ingredients for our mash batch, here from Grundy County. We are using things that are very indigenous to Grundy County. I can't really get into all of our ingredients right at this point, because I don't want to disclose too much. And with that being said, our long-term goal is to be in Tracy City. We've met with the Tracy City mayor and absolutely adore her. They've welcomed us with open arms. As you guys know, they've passed a referendum down there to have, you know, individual buy the drink service. So what we have done is I filed notice today, just at the clerk's office, which was an interesting task. Which is our first step to go ahead and bring a distillery to Grundy County. Now, Mike and I have had a conversation with Governor Lee. We haven't found a piece of property yet in Tracy City as much as we want to do that immediately. We haven't been able to locate the one place. In order for us to apply for our federal license as well as our state license, we need to have an address. Now, the reason that this has become something where we need to push forward and get this done is because Governor Lee has agreed, and this is tremendous, in front of Mike, he's given us commitment to put us on the Taste of Tennessee. That's huge. To be on the Taste of Tennessee as a distillery just brings such tourism and such opportunity to the county. It's just awesome. Now, as you guys know, I mean, have y'all been to Lynchburg?
Yep.
Would anybody even know about Lynchburg if it wasn't for Jack Daniels? No. We've looked at a lot of distilleries in Kentucky, we've looked at distilleries here in Tennessee. We feel like the amount of jobs that this is going to bring, the revenue that this is gonna bring, the taxes that this is gonna bring, and the tourism that this is gonna bring, there's nothing but positives. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to go ahead and start a closed distillery at my place right here in Hunter's Ridge. What that means is that that particular distillery is going to do nothing but manufacture possibly 100 barrels a year. Those barrels are gonna go directly to Bardstown, Kentucky. They will be bottled in Bardstown, Kentucky, and then they will be sold. There will not be any sales on site here at Hunter's Ridge. This is to get us put on the Taste of Tennessee. This is to get our licensing done, and this is until we can find the location in Tracy City to open up a full-blown distillery. One of the other things that I wanted to tell you guys about is this is a woman-owned and woman-led distillery. We are going to focus primarily on employing women here in Grundy County. Mike and I have talked, my daughter, who also has children here in Grundy County, for women to work off of this mountain is very difficult, especially when you have to be back by 3:30 to get children and stuff like that. With a distillery, we're able to give flex schedules, things like that that are really gonna be helpful to those women to earn a very good living. And I'm sure if you've met anybody that works at Jack Daniels, they're pretty happy with what they make as well. Our farmers are gonna be happy because our mash bills are going to them for free feed, the local cows, pork, things like that, that hopefully will boost our agricultural industry, as well as we're gonna be doing contracts with our local, farmers to grow some of the particular grains and things that we need for our particular mash bill that are gonna come from Grundy. Do I have any questions?
That might be.
I'm not our whole one, there's we there. We'll do a nice fix, guys. Well, you know,
What you need, so these old timers, will taste it.
you're welcome to come on down, anybody that wants
I
to.
don't think these old timers that you're fixing to put out business.
No, I'm actually not going to. Actually, Nick, to
At
pull
least
my
I'm
stuff
gonna
up.
tell you, there's been a bunch of distilleries in Grundy County already that just don't open up.
Well, that's a conversation I've had several times.
Actually pay the federal tax.
Well, we've talked about that a few times. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get some of them local boys involved.
Well, that's a good
So,
idea.
I think it's time that they come forward, I mean, they do
Their
so.
taste buds.
I'm gonna tell you, it's real good.
That's true, that's
No,
true.
I'm real serious, some of these older gentlemen
Well-
ought to be your,
Well, and that's exactly what
you know what I'm saying, they can take me where you go.
Grundy County has a long history of distilling, even if it's been behind the backwoods.
I'm gonna tell you a story about that.
You're right. You're right.
Coal mining and illegal liquor, basically what put them.
That's true.
Coal mining and
And
illegal.
I agree with
They never,
you.
that's the pretty county that I know of.
You're correct. And I think that having those guys come in and help develop is a store. And it needs to be wrong. Quite perked up.
You can learn a lot when you're not talking and listening.
I just don't know who's gonna be picking.
We don't have a period. We don't have a period.
We might find more. But guys, I really hope that everyone here supports this. I think it's gonna do great things for the community. We do have a lot of history in distilling in this county. We're willing to come forward and bring those guys along with us and have them as part of this, showcasing that history, as well as paying the taxes.
I mean, it's honestly what we want to eventually accomplish. If you've ever been to Heaven Hill Distillery, they have a museum from their beginnings, 1800s on through till today.
Yes.
And I've got some stills that are well over 100-year-old I've collected out of the woods. And
You want some more?
Yes.
Because I don't want them to rot away. I want them to be put up and preserved, because it's part of our heritage. It is. I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at it. It was bread and butter of this county for a long time.
Hey, let's face facts, guys, when COVID hit and nobody could get hand sanitizer, our distillers provided it.
It's not
Not
illegal
mine,
to
but
make
our
it.
distillers provided it.
What was illegal about it is they wasn't paying taxes on what they were selling.
Well,
That is the catch 22.
well, I will tell you, it's very
Not paying
difficult.
taxes on what
They
they
hit them
were
for making illegal liquor, they got them for taxing.
Well,
Tax evasion.
I will tell you, it's very difficult to get this license. It is very difficult to get this license. I mean, you really do jump through some hoops, and I'm hiring a big time attorney out of Nashville. Yeah.
It's not making it illegal.
And it's really not, it's $250 a barrel for the lead, and that's not that bad. And it's when it goes in the barrel, not when it comes out, so, you know, what you put in it, and it's per gallon, but it's about $250 a barrel, which isn't that bad. I mean, it is what it is. You buy a bond for it, you pay the taxes. We do it all up and on the legal and talk about the guys who didn't.
And the reason they want their taxes before it goes in the barrel is that way after the evaporation, they get some money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know.
That's always the way it goes.
Well, we don't make a motion.
So I just have a question.
Sure, sweetie, go ahead.
With the alcohol and beverage control and the ATL mainly being the ones that oversee this, what is it exactly that you guys have to kill commission?
I'm not asking anything from you guys other than your support in the community. We've already, because Tracy City has already passed liquor by the glass, and Tracy City has had a liquor store under, and I did the notice today, but it's 57-2103D, that distilleries are legal in Grundy County now without any further anything.
Well, I'm glad you gave them transparent with us and let us know.
Oh, well, out of respect, I wanted to let you know.
Down the road, in the business distillery coming, right?
Yes, and I really wanted to have that respect and do that for everybody. And Mike has worked with me on this, so.
Hey, talk to me after this. I like your work.
Is there any other questions, guys? Oh, and by the way, just to let you know, we did go to Bardstown, which is one of the top distilleries in the country in Kentucky. They probably brew, I'm under NDA, I can't tell you exactly who they brew for, but they brew for everybody. We sat with their head distiller and their head taster. He tasted our brew, and I'm here to tell you that he said it was one of the best he's ever had. So that's, we can do this and we can do it well. Just ask for your support in it, and if the church comes after me, please stand in the middle.
Well, when that first bottle comes off, you are gonna have a taste test.
Well, you can actually come over to my place, and we've actually put in a bourbon tasting bar at my barn. It was, yes, I wanted horses, and my husband wanted bourbon tasting bar. So after 33 years, we compromised.
I vote.
So, you know, that was all it is, guys. I just wanted to let y'all know. Well, here, let me do an official. Let me do, y'all know this. Here you go. I'll pass it around the table. Here, guys, let me give you the official notice. It's official. Oh, no, no, this is oh, and guys, gentlemen, try to get their attention. I got them all talking about the old school. Guys, just so everybody knows, you know, we do a tasting, okay, and I just want to be really clear on this. When you do a tasting at a distillery, you're doing half-ounce pours, and they're only basically the liquor that you're brewing there. So for us, it would be 3 half-ounce pours, and that's it. So,
1.5 ounces.
yeah, 1.5 ounces total. And most of the time, and you know, if you come to my place, if you're all invited, I mean, anytime, but if you come to my place and see, a tasting is not about doing a shot. It's just not that way. They're smelling, they're tasting, they're learning about the brewing process, they're learning about how we do things, what makes it taste that way. And most of the time, they don't even drink the full half ounce. So it's an interesting thing to see. It's all done with class. It's not there to, we're not e-hops.
At the end of the day, I mean, it sounds bad, we're not trying to make bourbon to sell here in the community to everybody. I'm not looking to sell it, what I wanna do is have those local people help me make this product.
Be employed.
I wanna give them a good job and security, and I want people to come from Arkansas, and Wisconsin, and Texas, come here, taste this, spend their money, and then go home. That's our deal. We have so many natural resources here and just beautiful places that people come here and they walk our trails. We have nowhere for them to spend money. So if we have somewhere for them to spend their money here, then it'll benefit all of us. And that's the whole goal.
It's not only did Tracy
Come spend
City,
your money and go home.
not only did Tracy City welcome us with open arms to do this there, you know, that location for the big distillery was picked also because they have a tremendous amount of Airbnbs in Tracy City that would support tourism for us. You know, there's a lot of things going on there. They're doing a lot of great things down there. I personally, as well as Nick, wanted to do it here in Altamont, but I don't believe that Altamont City Council would be as receptive to us. And Tracy City just bent over backwards. I can't say better about them. So, Huh? Well, we're looking at a 5-acre piece right now that we found that we really like, and hopefully we'll make some headway on that. Doesn't need to be a large piece of property, but it definitely needs to have a water source on it.
You know, all of the lines is been spread from the city, and more rural and not located in the cities.
Right. Well,
Although,
we're-
I think we have a better off rural than not big. Nothing against our city now.
Well-
I mean, that's fine, but, a little bit off the beaten path.
well, in a perfect world,
Sometimes it's a private city, and a lot more people want to go buy a bottle of liquor, you can go to like that.
well, we're not looking at downtown.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're not looking at downtown.
Is there anybody else from the public that needs to address?
Every square feet.
Oh, I would she's the building. I mean, 5 acres of raw land. So, anybody else have any questions? Do I have your support? Can I count on you guys? All right. Absolutely. Well, out of respect, I just wanted to be totally transparent and, you know, hopefully get your protection
We
if I
gonna
need
go
it.
knock, we gonna go on Rob's again.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Did you say you need it?
Yeah.
My name is Tiffany. I didn't know when y'all were gonna do this, so I told them I didn't know my resume. Where I know that the process that y'all have to do, I'm going in.
First year, then
Okay.
All right,
Mr. Mayor?
yes.
Ms. Winter here just said that she would not be here.
Okay.
And that, you know, I said earlier, we need to check with all that before that day. But we have to, advertise that in the paper that we're going to have a meeting. So we'll have 5 days.
Yeah, and I just printed these off just because, just to go back and give it to you.
What is
Y'all
the
be-
day that you will be here?
21st.
What? 21st. What day is that? That's on Wednesday.
When's the 21st?
It's a Monday.
First is a Monday, I think.
It's- Yeah, I can do it.
It's well, Commissioner, y'all want to change it to the 21st or?
I think you-
Ask Ms. Gregg, she's here, Ms. Gregg.
Yes,
Are you here?
I'm available both, whatever.
Move it to the 21st if they can vote.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you need to see how many participants they are in this, and make sure everybody can make it.
And everybody, you know. Okay, I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Can we change that date to 21st, everybody agree? 6
That-
o'clock,
yeah, that's
6
good.
o'clock, that's great. Six.
I thought y'all said that.
I can be here then, that's fine.
I thought y'all said that.
That's
Hey,
resume.
don't do that.
No, that's 12, I told the resume, Dawn.
Could possibly, one of y'all, when you get done looking at my resume, give it to the mayor, please? There's 9 copies, I think.
21st,
Has everybody got one?
Yeah.
I've got one over here. Everybody else got one?
6 p.m.
Okay,
I don't have my phone here.
okay. That's all I need. Thank y'all so very much.
Thank you. Anyone else need to address county commission before we adjourn, get ready for a regular meeting?
I have a question about
Yes.
that. Both, will those interviews be open to the public, like to come and view? And also, how would someone submit their resume if they want to do so outside of this meeting?
Yes, so they submit it to my office and I disperse it to the rest of the county commission. And Tennessee, being a open record state, is open to the public.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything for the county commission? All right, gentlemen, we'll adjourn at 6:52 and we'll come back at 7 o'clock.